All right, good morning, everyone. Let's get going. All right, U.S. markets managed to have a nice rally yesterday's session. You can see there at the very, very end of the day, I think in the last about 20 minutes, we did back off the highs a little bit, but we still managed to get every sector in the green. I think really important for us to just kind of, have some relief of this, perpetual sell-off that we've seen. Um, I think we were propelled a little bit. I mean, we're obviously up early in the morning, but I think what really gave us support and kept us up there was the market data yesterday was really, really good. I think obviously we had sell-off because we think the Fed's going to start to taper. Yesterday, all it did was confirm that, but I think all the data was good enough that it still just made the market rally. So I think very important that the market actually took good data as good news and rallied yesterday. So that's really important to take note of. All right, Asian markets were kind of green across the board for the most part. Obviously, you can see over there Japan was down about 1%, but other than that, we had a nice solid day in Asia. The Chinese central bank did come in and relieve a little bit of the tension out of the credit markets there. They came in and made liquidity there in the market. So I think that really was very key for the day there in Asia, and I think it's key going forward. People have really been panicking about the Shibor rates going nuts and what that would cause to happen in China. So that's another I think worry that the market had that's kind of probably out of the way now. Gold obviously lost a lot of size there overnight on the back of what happened with the U.S. data yesterday. We'll show that chart in just a minute, but getting kind of ugly again today across the board in precious metals and in most oil resources. All right, Anglo's Cutafani made a comment overnight saying that he sees a grim outlook for the thermal coal industry. Which obviously that's a big part of their industry. So I think that's going to be very, it's important that a guy in that industry is actually saying that. AMCU also is looking for a 100% increase from the gold miners. So we might see zero before we know it on some of these shares. And then we've got a lot of broker upgrade downgrades. We had Naspers that was rated buy at SPG Securities, target price 715. We also had Deutsche Bank that came out rated at buy, target price 715. Lawman was raised to neutral versus sell at UBS, and JD Group was raised to neutral versus underweight at JP Morgan. And the market data today, really light day out today. We've got Q1 GDP out of France. We've got U.S. MBA mortgage apps, and we've got Q1 annualized GDP in the U.S. as well. All right, let's jump into the maps. Okay, the first thing I'll have a look at here is spot gold. And we're going to jump all the way back. I was going through this morning trying to look for some support, and I ended up at a 10-year chart to try to hunt some support here, which is not good for anything to have to go back 10 years and look for support. The first really major level I could find here, I say really major, really decent level I could find here is at about 1177. You can see there, I'll just get it right, which is still a little bit lower than this. I mean, at 1263, which we dropped this morning, there was a little bit of support, you could call it, but here I really like the 1173 number, or sorry, 1180, call it 1177, 1180 number, somewhere in there. If you zoom in, you can see it a little bit better, but where the real major support would be, I would say, is here at $1,000. So I know it sounds crazy, but it's also crazy the move that we saw to the upside in gold. Let's zoom forward here so we can see these levels a little bit more clearly. Sorry, but let's call this 1180 on gold. So that's the support level we're going to look at, 1180, 1182. And then major support obviously down here at about $1,000 in gold. So don't be surprised if this gold price can continue to come off. Have these shares already priced a lot of that in, or most of that in? Most likely, but it doesn't mean they can't come lower as well. So just keep in mind that that's we're going back years now to try to find support in gold. All right, ABSA. Let's have a look at ABSA. Look at it on a 2-year chart. I just wanted to show here. I mean, there's so much consolidation that happened down here around kind of 134, 135, and ABSA back last year in the middle of the year, and we really reversed off of it. Eventually, we made a nice breakout there. This is kind of the exact same level that we've been testing here over the last few sessions, and you know, the sell-off's been steep. Obviously, we came from north of 170, and it's happened over a few months. You know, I would say if we can break above this, you know, this downward sloping trend line here, that we could end up seeing a nice breakout here in ABSA, and I think a lot of these banks are kind of in that situation. They're kind of in a bottoming formation at the moment. One that might not quite be there yet could be Able. The pattern here still looks ominous. We've just entered into a little bit of another continuation pattern here, and broken down below 16, really coming from about 18, so that puts a target at $14. You know, we're at 15.30 already, but you know, the fact that we just kind of gotten below this level here at 16, which was quite a big level, I think, and just kind of consolidating. It's tried to break up above it twice or 3 times even, couldn't close above there. It's just really negative. So keep that in mind. I mean, it could just you know, the sell-off there could continue for another few rand or few sessions. All right, now we're going to look at CFR. I know we showed this one yesterday. The reason why I want to show this again today is just to, you know, we talked about 86, or in fact, I think we showed it the last 2 days. But we talked about 86 being the breakdown here in CFR. Well, we came back up and we basically closed yesterday's session right up there. I think we closed at 85.78. So we were coming back to retest what was support, now is resistance here at 86. This is going to be a really big level for us in CFR. You know, obviously the rand's going to have a big play in this, but watch this one closely. I think we could struggle to get above 86, and if we start to turn south again, that could be a good one to be on the short side of around those levels. All right, let's look at Vodacom. I'm actually going to, I want to back out into a 2-year chart. I'm just going to kind of show here. We're kind of looking at this. It's like a series of head and shoulders or bigger head and shoulders as part of the pattern. So we've got that one head and shoulder pattern there that we completed. But you know, if you look at a longer term like this, you can also be looking at a bit of a head and shoulder here. Maybe a bit of a tilted head and shoulder, but still head and shoulder nonetheless, that we've broken down below, and I think the target can take us much lower. You know, if you take the breakdown here from about 116 to call it 104, I mean, we could be looking at 12 rand, a downside below 105. I really think that if we drop support here around $100, there is some support at $100. But if we drop support around $100, I wouldn't be surprised to see us move to the bottom end of this range into the low 90s, possibly to support somewhere around here. And that's so this chart's still looking quite ominous. You know, don't be caught up trying to bottom pick this thing. It just hasn't been able to bounce at all for several sessions now. All right, let's look at Aspen. Aspen also looking a little bit head and shoulder-ish. If this pattern continues to move out to the right, you know, I think we're a little bit too short term here on the right side to call it head and shoulders, but the levels that we're really going to want to focus on here are right at $200, and maybe call it you know, 180, call it 182 to 185, somewhere in there. So I think that those are clearly defined risk levels. If we were to drop 182 or 180 somewhere that level, I think we will trade down to $160. But you know, like I said, if we break above 200, then obviously we can totally take off. So this is just kind of it's a nice little risk range. You can just wait for this to pop out of, and I think you've got a quick 20 rand on either side as soon as we break out of this little pattern, whichever way. So keep an eye on Aspen. BTI is the last local one I'm going to show here, and you can kind of see there's a little bit of support here in terms of horizontally, but then again on the trend line, let's just get this tightened up here. On trend line support, you can also see how that's come in quite nicely there to meet each other. So I would say BTI looking quite good. I'll also just show it quickly in London just to give you an idea how steep the sell-off's been. I mean, it's been absolutely vicious, just been hammered. And I think that it's due for a technical bounce anyways. The fact that we're in support here locally just adds to that. And the last one I'm going to show is next NXT on the LSE. Right at major support as of yesterday. This thing made a huge reversal. We're really kind of setting up for a beautiful breakout of a flag pattern here, and we're kind of right at that this morning. Maybe needs to go a touch higher. Control that up there a little bit, but I think next clearly has some more room left to the upside. And that's it for today, guys. Thanks a lot.